Oh, stop.
Why are you making... Okay, Blue. Where's your clues?
Oh,
Hmm. Elixir or scav? Elixir or scav? Scav. Yeah. The elixir gives me more. But I like the scav better for... Alright. Benny Boys. I've never been worried about Benny Boys. Armor or health. Neither one of those is like really strongly in the window that I care about. Lucky hit chance. Okay. Fancy chicken. That's that. Technically, I haven't died with fancy chicken yet. Also, I've been thinking about video games. And one of the things that seems to start getting lost on at least a couple creators. Scab. And then we want... Like, this will slightly annoy me for a little while. Something puts the scav items in the exact order they are shown. Yeah, no. Like, once you know where things are going, yeah, you can just kind of go through the list in the order or whatever. But, like, there we go. Now we're going to save this. to scab. Wooden coins ores. Yeah, like, that feels better. Now to take some of them away. Pull that. Pull that. Pull that. Pull that. Pull that. This is extremely hard, and it has nothing to do with the wand, though the wand may be what screws us. Let's get to it. Let's see. Because 8 blood vials is tougher than it looks, especially 8 blood vials plus 20 pages, so almost no getting out of. That's a regular egg. Yeah, I'm early enough in this. 3 drowned hide will get me 11 living chests, and I basically just have to do it some point during the regular course in the vault. Yeah, like, wizard wand there is just get lucky, stupid. Keeps talking about the scab. But one of the things I've noted, yeah, like I could be done with wizard wand right here if I'm lucky. Sack, sack, sack. Is the concept of how much of the game is after the game. Like, when you take into account the regular gameplay of the regular user, how much of your gameplay are you sticking where people aren't going to see it? If only 1/5 of all people get to the end game where they start going into quote-unquote New Game Plus, how much of your game's mechanics did you stick in New Game Plus versus standard New Game? Because if you stuck too much of your gameplay in a position that most people aren't going to see, you're just, like, you can do that. Look, wizard wand. You can do that very, very easily. I'm going to be lazy about this one. Look. Now I don't have to remove the stupid empowered chaotic focus I picked up. Yeah, Swampy's poison is a little bit ridiculous. It does encourage the effect avoidance, but at the same time, you aren't given to have a decent guarantee of it. But, like, when more and more of the game gets pushed further and further back, you lose good chances to hook people. Like, yes, I know you want to eliminate RNG because people have complained about RNG, but a lot of the game, the RNG early on can matter because those, oh, look what I managed to get. I got something I wasn't expecting because my scrappy gear piece managed to roll an Omega at the very beginning. I didn't get it to drop as an Omega, but it became one. Versus that's going to be living in the wall there. Swampy, die. Yeah, Swampy has too large of an effect radius along with the damage. This feels like a higher rate of traps, but I know that it's like, that's just being random. Anyways. Yeah, there's like one type of point of interest that ends up right here, and that's this one, give or take. Look, I got a lemon. Almost done with the drowned hides already. Done with the drowned hides, but I am not done with living yet. Because I need 3 more living. But I've got all of the index pieces, so... And that's my first empowered chaotic focus out of anything. I need these. Alright. And, like... between, like... even dedicated players don't necessarily get to the end. Miss Crafty? One of my all-time fave people to play with. Like, she's never beat. She like doesn't tend to beat the Herald. She plays the earlier game, but like earlier games also gotten worse. Like, not because I expect that she feels necessarily that it's gotten worse, but like. I think, okay, how accessible is the decks or other things like that? They've got complexity to use well. And like the absolute top tier min-max gamers are going to absolutely eat that stuff up. They're going to crack so much stuff. And like, if 100% of your gameplay wants only that level of dedication, I think there's a little bit of a disconnect at getting people to play Airpack. And a Pyretic Focus. Cool. Now I just need it not to be trapped and... Laura, my beloved. Thank you. and I'm not just saying this about, like, Iskalla's game or whatever, like, Bethesda put out one of the games they've been working on for years, and I think they've got a bit of a push and a pull on some of their content, and they put a huge amount of, like, little fun, philosophical, silly things and power things behind their New Game Plus. And, like, okay, there's nothing bad about having some mechanics that really take off for, like, New Game Plus. But they're like, oh, we don't think that the, some of the gamers are really engaging with what we think the gameplay loop should have been. There was supposed to be this big question about, like, philosophy wise about what it means, like, to kind of gamerify life. The only way to improve these strange powers you get is a thing during line, you know. This week's Dragon Shout is next week's artifact granted power. What was it, here? Yeah. Lemon. Alright. But at the same time, it's pushing and pulling with the rest of the game. To go through, you had to give up everything. Now, like, you can now take 50 of weight unit of stuff you can stick in a box if you build it and then take it through, and cool. Noting that you're given a base set of armor, and because it's a space game, you get a base spaceship, and those progress as you jump through too, because you can cycle New Game Pluses, and you're in fact encouraged to, because the each time you only get to level up your power by 1 tier, and it goes to a max of max of 10, which means you need to go through this at least 9 times. Not to mention, I think there's still a bug where you can't actually get all of them on your initial pre-New Game Plus. So, like, you have to unlock a few of them in your first New Game Plus. Not because of any intentional design decision that goes, these are only for people who bother to go past the end. And, like, it also has a lot of tension with other mechanics, because you got lots of mechanics that are like, build up a bunch of resources, spend a bunch of resources, set up industry, set up this, that, and the other thing, and it's like, okay, I'm supposed to build 8 mining outposts, link them together, make this great, impressive mining setup, and prove that I'm good at this, but at the same time, anyways, I'm supposed to try and get to the end and leave everything behind, especially noting that one of the last things it shows you is a little room clip show that tells you these are all the things you've done, and then there's empty spaces for any of the storylines you haven't engaged with yet. So, like, you've got a push and pull on that, and then it's like, okay. And this is a terrible room. Yeah, let's go this way. Between what you're... And then, like, with the latest update, when they did some different changes, they did them because they hadn't been getting nearly as much engagement. 20% even getting to the point that they can. Suddenly means that anything you did behind that, which, like, honestly, the claim is they put in so much, but, like, it's... When I looked at it, it was like, looked at the list, it's like, it's set dressing stuff. And on the narrative tension pod, I was like, okay. It really is pretty far in the narrative tension against what the rest of your gameplay already is saying. Like, no blood vibes. Already did those. Yeah. And I think one of the things that's gone a bit wrong with the newer updates, not that there's much we can do now if they're pencils down on VH3, is how much of the mechanics are now pushed so much further towards you can only really crack into them later. Like, you could get the personal vaults early before, but now they're greed. You could get the, you could get a strong deck, but now decks, even the, don't even drop special decks any place or whatnot. And they're locked behind a research. And behind the research, the individual sub-decks or whatever are locked behind a progression lock that doesn't start ticking until you've done the research. And it just becomes, okay, so you don't want anybody but the absolute endgame to ever engage with the, Gorgeous, my beloved, thank you very much. With the deck mechanic to its full extent, because you have a few power gamers that absolutely broke it. Like, honestly, I think by making the game worse for your early game players to hold your to worry about your end game balance feels just a little bit bad. Like, let the players have absolutely broken things by the time they start hitting greed. And just, rather than have greed upgrade by 1 tier each time, have the initial greed challenge be a scalar. How good did you do? How good did you do to prove that you are worthy of greed? And that sets your greed tier. The greed tier isn't how many times have you done it, it's how hard can you go against this boss. And the greed boss suddenly goes from, you face this guy every so often, and then get a reward based on how long you last or whatever, into like well, you get that kind of reward. You also get instead you get a higher tier that has higher chance of better rewards quickly if you've already min-maxed out and proved you're stronger. And suddenly your earlier levels of tier for the people who just kind of did it quick need to kind of get better at the gameplay. Bonk. Alright. I got 5 minutes to get a single blood vial from someplace. This will probably be it. Not necessarily that specific coin pile, but very possibly. There we go. And then you've got... Okay, yeah. Late game... Why do you... Like, why should gear be RNG on RNG? You're already taking a chance for what you rolled coming out of the point of interest. Why does it roll again when you identify it? And the correct answer is because if you failed to get the rare or whatever on the initial, having a 5% chance on the backswing of it rolling better feels just a bit better, because you can go, okay, I got all this gear and nothing really stands out, but let's go ahead and see. When it can't even roll up, like, okay, do I actually need to be identifying this gear before I stick it in the recycler? Because what? All of the gear recycles based on its tier, and its tier is locked as soon as I picked it up, right? I do think, like, a little too much of Vault Hunters for the casual gamer. The one who might pick it up as kind of like a fun little game and might discover they really like it. Like, too many of the really fun mechanics got pushed too far back. Oh, we start introducing this at 50. Okay. But when do you get to actually do anything with it? I completed last season and, like, didn't even bother forcing the Herald or whatnot, because I knew it was going to be a shorter season. Here came the update. We want to reset. But it was also like so much of Prestige changed, and alright. 2 minutes. Do I see anything really amazing to engage with immediately right here? Couple more wooden. Try for those mod boxes. Coins, living. The turn in will be downstairs. 500 mobs in a vault. Not hard in an overgrown theme. something something on far less articulated voice than I am in my head. And that's like alright. That's just going to happen. That's okay. First pyretic. Okay. Even more fun. Those are apparently a separate one. So that's only used for trails. Yay. I did get a decent amount on the mod boxes. So let's see what we can do about power today. Okay. That's fine. Painite. This I'm going to have to sort out into something else later. Honestly, I don't have a major reason why I'm keeping the wand in there. Like, oh, it rolled legendary. Yeah. Yeah. Cool crystal. Okay. The companion relics now being entirely craft, no chance of find. It takes 8 of those pieces, so it's going to take you... What, it took me 4 vaults to find 2 of them. Like, we're going to assume that this is normal, whatever. Maybe some people are going to get a little bit more, so let's say it's like 3, at which point, okay. It's going to take about 12 vaults to get 8 then. And if we run off of something like that for an assumption, suddenly it's like, okay. Whereas you could like lucky roll a decent one, you get to craft one after 12 vaults. You can get to craft one. You don't get lucky and start to get wooden early. You don't. Ugh. Shiny movement speed. Item rarity. And generic. Chromatic. Anything good in here? No. And like, this is the largest deck you have initially. The only way, like, what you call it? I lost my train of thought, which you would think would be difficult to do because trains tend to be on tracks, and then you just have to find the track, and it's like right there. But no. But I think sometimes, like, the design gets caught up in the big overarching picture. What you think of, what you're chasing as a designer is one thing, but what the players end up engaging with at the end may look very different from what you thought they were going to see. Because suddenly you went from, hey, this is... Okay. Azalea leaves. That's why those aren't going away there. Monk. Alright. Okay. Not that I'm saying that I'm perfectly in tune with all the other players. But, like... coming from somebody who hit level 540 something in your mod pack one time, messing around with the prestige, and believe me, I had fun with the prestige. Having too much of the gameplay loop end game just... I don't like saying gatekeep, but it just feels just a little bit more like, why are you gating this experience that you think is so great behind so much more of the mod pack? Aren't you trying to introduce them to how great this mod pack is? And if the initial investment to even start seeing how great the pack is, like, gear system is nice. Like, there's some things that are really nice in this early on, but you aren't getting a major progression award at like 50, 65, where like it strongly immediately feels like it's available. If you know what you're doing, you can get some good progression by then, but let's compress some sweets. But if you don't know what you're doing, how much is Joe Schmo picking up your mod pack, getting to enjoy it, and going, yeah, I want to engage with this long enough to get to that end game content. And, like, yes, it's not your kitchen sink mod pack. But why are some of the things that distinguish it from being a kitchen sink mod pack? Why is so much of, like, the fun things, personal vaults, deck, the really customizable decks, the heck, even like most people, like, yeah, you can throw catalysts as single ones, but like the really, I really just silk touched all that. Distracted. Alright. F3. Yeah. Not quite as articulate as I want to be about it. Arguments are always easier in your head. And again, at least some of the arguments I have are based on... Look, I can make ice now. Integral components. Gold to diamond tier. Do I have any gold ones lying around not already upgraded? I got some iron ones. On the shelf we go. Let's see. Copper, iron, gold, diamond. Ooh, I got a solar panel. Unfortunately, I don't have a wireless transmission grid of any sort. Like, if I had a, one of the Ender ones already, the Ender cell and a power cell, I could just stick it up there. But we're living in a cave. And I don't feel like making that many cables. Okay, we could dig a hole in the ceiling. Good. That's also an option. Alright. This goes here. This goes here. This goes here. Sure. I need those for suppressors later. I'm not dealing with that right now. Maybe Larry. Ugh. Of course, right now I'm effectively talking to the void. Got any lurkers? Any lurkers? No lurkers? Okay. I think this one's the higher quality one. It's one less, but it's a higher quality of the one less. Okay. Thank you, Champion's Abode, Champion Domain, whatever I was doing. Lucky Iskallia Sword, Fear Cloud. Not even great on the attack rolls. Legendary item quantity. Near max on the mining speed. I think I want the rarity. I think all of it's been. Alright. So we need copper, taters, rabbit and moss. And let me say this too, like I love time waster games. Like That's one of the reasons you potentially interact with some games is you want something that you can do that's kind of repetitive, but at the same time is not 100% repetitive. Each vault run potentially is different based on where points of interest spawn. And like you can get good at recognizing patterns, but there's no guarantee on any given room, any given setup. Like, yeah, you learn certain things like, oh, as soon as that started spawning, I knew that one was living because that's the epic that spawns there. You know, the same way you can look for the ornate epics in those specific places, the Forge Foundry things that they always focus on. Only have 4 of them, but at the same time, like, what am I going to use them? Okay. Oh no. You can't summon? Okay. So I have 2 ways I can engage with this vault. I can either chase the notably quite difficult chest items through the rooms full of time risk in the theme. I think this is one of the better themes because it doesn't have the black concrete to mix with the look of the liquid. Or I can simply decide I'm going to go after ore rooms as quickly as possible. And use the fact that I rolled the void to start out going after Echo. Oh, and while I'm at it, just in case, I should go. We're running Fortune through this. You know why you run Fortune? If you get any of the POIs with a void liquid in it, with like ores in it, you want to run Fortune. Because otherwise, it will simply automatically smelt the ore into 2 gems. Is this a bad thing? Not necessarily. 2 gems isn't a bad roll, but when your average is 2.2, so I have to decide, am I going for completion here? Already wasting time. I think my best bet is not for completion on this. I think if this had rolled like more middle of the road, but double epic, double omega, rare, all on the chest categories. I'm just going to see what ores I can get mined up. Okay. Ore rooms have one total POI that can spawn with any liquid in it. And that's one of the campsites. It will spawn the void liquid, so... Player gems are more common in this, black opal is more common in this, and echo is extremely common in this compared to any place else. So that is what I need to be focused on. Is the player gems and the echo. And the black opal. Like, it'd be nice if I could get the augment out of this, but it just gave me the wrong level of scav. For me to say reasonably. Like, I know some things are supposed to be unavoidable. I do wish that, cool, I've now got an echo to put into my echo index. Although I think, no, I already had a Boltstone echo on the index. But 2 echo ores. That should average to about 5 echo. Once fortune, maybe a bit more, because I haven't done all the math. Now that we're dealing with pure fortune 5, as opposed to 20% off discount fortune 5. Yeah, it's one of these campsite POIs that can spawn with like a barrel of void liquid. And that's the only place you can get void liquid inside the bounds of one of the common orbs. I think I'm better off going for a new room. Yeah. Not an ore room. My mom's out. It's because I'm not murdering things and getting my arcane refresh. Anyways. Experience doesn't matter. So unless I'm getting a lot of soul shards from those, I should probably skip them. I was hoping for that to have rolled its ore variants, because its ore variants are always big ones. This is an ore? No. But this is more POI. With the liquid. Gotta be very careful there with yeah. Anyways. Ugh. Oh. Did it spawn with anything? Nothing down. And I took the long route to get up. One up, at least. Okay. Upstairs looks like it rolled okay. In theory, I should go and, like, look at the altar, just in case it tells me, hey, ores. It didn't. Ah. Like, maybe I'm engaging with it too much as a 30-year-old gamer. You know, 30-year-old versus 20. I mean, what even does 6'7" mean? It means if I say it in front of the right people, I can annoy them. which as far as I can tell is about the same. Fine, fine. Yay! Actually, I think... Ooh. That makes it feel worse, because what? It costs how much resources to get the relics now? What does the treat now cost? I don't have to worry about that because I'm on casual, but like... If I were to die right now with the companion, would I have even found enough resources that I could regrow that heart on it so I don't lose it? I can now find the egg. When it doesn't spawn immediately on my face. Oh, you got egg on your face. Do I want 5 more minutes of this? Yes. Why? Otherwise, I was going to waste about 40 seconds of it. Mining it for, like, a decent chance at the, temporal relic. I say as though I've used like a half dozen, maybe, if I'm generous to how many I've used, in all my time playing. And I've collected plenty. Like I said, I got to 500 something. I used the prestige. Anyways, ore room. That's mana. I know it's got higher rates of certain ores. Does it also have a higher overall percent chance of any given block becoming an ore? I don't remember if it does. Okay. What? Here comes the wooden babies. Because that's clearly what the ones here are, right? They're warden babies, because they're not full-on wardens. Warden baby, da 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 da. Wait. What, are my streams not good enough for the bots today either? I have no clue if anyone's lurking. I mean, it's a Friday. Who in the world is up Friday mornings? School year. Hope the craftling isn't doing too bad. Because usually things going on in Crafty's life have been like, okay, kid's having a hard time of it. Crafty's going to take her time to, Oh, look, we're at 9 minutes left again. Something, something. Let's go take a void bath. Nah. That's not how you're supposed to engage with that. Oh, I'm already back behind it. Yeah, this isn't the room that has like the really good, consistent ore if you drop straight down to it. The one that can get like the 5x5 gilded point of interest and some of those other ones. There we go. Anyways, I'm a resource monkey. Let's get some resources. This is an ore vault. I'm allowed to die in vaults. Well, why don't you survive? I mean, you've still got a decent amount of EXP from the ores. Get yourself 57. You're not even that far from it. You can tell that they're babies because they haven't gone through the warden equivalent of teething. And by teething, I mean growing a mouth. Wanna go bear. Food go bear. Assassins go bear. can't even get good counts on like how many soul shards I'm getting or whatever, because like the only way to track them is by looking in the pouch and like, okay, I engaged with the black market at the very beginning of this. Okay, yeah, you can also track at the very end because it does list how many soul shards you pick up. This is potentially dangerous because it's one of the barrel-y looking ones, but it's more centered, so it's a little more obvious than this. Okay. I'd be dead right about here if I didn't get the time pylon. So from here on out is profit. Oh. Really? No set or carved point of interest on that one? Anyways, here's your Wu-Tech special. Three ore rooms, all perfectly lined up, right? Hi, tanks. Nobody likes you and your vision mechanics. I think timing-wise, I'm probably going to end up dying in this ore room unless this spawns absolutely nothing. Pretty much. At which point I can potentially run for the exit. Okay. Okay, fine. If I makes it, I makes it. If I don't, I don't. No fruit. But I am allowed to dash. If I touch liquid, it's over. Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4. You survived? Can't even use my last bounty. Anyways. Okay. Now, did that manage to run long enough? Nope. Did not run long enough that the companion double cooldowned on me. Alright. Oh no. Oh, my Larry went bye-bye. Okay. Cut Scorcher. Alright. Time to add these to the nonsense index. Horrible. Technically, it cost me a blank seal. Alright. living helmet, same tier. Let's see if we can make it worthwhile. No. I'd rather have the living or the crit hit resist. Topaz. Two volts. Achy. 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 Pants. Yeah, back in the day, you also could get, because you had the chance of rolling up, and once they added living, like, living is an amazingly powerful modifier. Very rarely does it make something worse, like, because you have to understand, there's something different than best on its tier and then not being best on its tier on the next time it upgrades versus downgrading, which they got rid of. Anyways, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I know. I could technically do 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I got the extra 9 point whatever reach at all times. Because of the magnet. Hi, bot. Bye, bot. Like, some bots might be tempting if I was the right kind of person. But you see, AI, like, you're just throwing buzzwords. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to encourage something to scrape my views AI viewers. Okay, cool. So you're telling me I can essentially inflate my numbers, committing financial fraud versus Amazon. Tempting. I'm kidding. I don't even want their money at the moment. I just have to sell what essentially is my essence to whatever machine overlord is recording this, and it's going to absolutely butcher it. Like right now, I don't like the AI stuff anyways. It feels a little like it's a very powerful tool when used correctly, but a majority of the corporate is not, like, it is not being used in a way that like really properly leverages what it's good for. Was it good for? Pattern recognition. You put in something to actively like watch for things like cancer or whatnot. Oh, it can spot plagiarism. No, no, because plagiarism is not exactly the same. The only way you can get the plagiarism correctly isn't by matching, like, the cases where you're going to get plagiarism where like you're really catching it will be things where like you need to know enough about the thing you're checking. If your argument is based on like word choices or whatnot, you're potentially going to bias yourself against somebody who might have a vocabulary. If you're like 8-year-olds don't speak this way, autistic ones do. Ones with pretentious parents do. Sometimes kids get special interests in things that mean that, yeah, they know more. Heck, you don't even have to be neurodivergent for that to apply. Because guess what? You're supposed to be getting the kids hyped up about different things. Anyways. Let's go back and look at our haul. So we've got right? Have to. Now, Extraordinary Larry is starting to overflow. Oh no. Uh, Cactus, dirt, gold, leather. Oh. What have I got for cactus? 10 cactus. Snad is not expensive. And in fact, I have a decent amount of Larry right now. I don't want to make a cactus farm right now. Something, something. Technically, that means it's a little bit lossy. I might have to regret not getting SNAD in previous playthroughs as early as this. But now I need to make a stupid drawer for it. Because, okay. Somewhere around I've got some dye that I need to mix with other dye, right? No? I've used up all the red dye and all the white dye. Okay. There, I fixed it. Okay. Bone blocks. I shoved all the bone meal next to the bread, didn't I? Yep. Seven white dye. Bones go in here. Bones go in here. Bones go in here. Yeah. Sort. Beetroot. 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 I should probably do another harvest soon, but like. All right. Beetroot. Pink. Pink, pink, pink. Pink. Wow. Need to compact that again soon. Because almost certainly that means it overflowed. That's not quite overflowing yet. Okay. I want to dye some pink. That's what I've been doing this whole time. Cactus. Moss. Alright. Driftwood. Driftwood, neat. That tells me I need to go compact those. Yeah, all that fuss, and I don't even get to make a full stack the logs out of it. Yeah, I think right now it's just don't need that. Riveting gameplay. Ugh. I shouldn't need to do this into my 50s, but like this was supposed to be like early game, like pre-drawers or really early drawers was when you were supposed to still have this kind of problem where you had to come in here and like manually compact it. By 50, I should just be able to de-loot and be done with it. Like, yeah, we get it. We get it. You have the same complaint every single time. And it's still accurate. Sure, whenever they get the hotfix out, hopefully it'll be solved then. Oh, look. Carbon's going to hang out of my bag the next time. Oh, and this isn't self-compacting because it needs a 3x3, and I'm not spending 20 on that. Right, there's some dirt here. It's like, that's not the sound of the cactus breaking. I took the stick. Alright. That's clear. This is clear. Oh. I think I spend the points on haste because, yay, mining speed. $57 to $65. 5 screens? Maybe 4? Depends on how consistently I'm doing the vaults with completion, not dying. Gobble, 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 gobble. Almost refresh time. But I'm at the point in my gameplay where, like, 2 hours is good, and I don't have enough automation that I can, like, do 5 or 6 vaults without having to pause and refresh it myself because I don't have Cactus automated. Though we saw how easy it is to automate that stupid thing. What? I stick one of the void upgrades and then I invest some knowledge in routers? I think, yeah. I think routers is still my go-to for moving things around. Technically, I've got Cagerium. In theory, I should start doing the Cagerium setup. What I win here? Nova Explosion Dog. What is it? Hostile egg. Useless. This week in subcategories, zombie. Let's go check the refresh on the black market. Lemon and a pack. Lucky it's cool. Everything else is as it should be. I need to stick some type of power, create a controller. It's not going to get through a stack. Okay. Cactus farm, 4 iron. And wait, jungle stairs. Not specifically that it has to be jungle, but just because. It's something that I apparently have a couple of stair sets for. And it's like. Okay. And then it's based on where in the world I want to put the, like, controller. Controller wants to be in this chunk, obviously. Why do you need a chunk? Maybe just stick a faucet draining something from in here. Anyways. Yay, dodge damage. This is the water. So if I did something like, say, water level, magma block. Good thing it only has to be vaguely the right shape. Later on, once I'm well set up, I'm going to like manually upgrade this one. Did I leave any magma blocks over here? Or if I wandered, there was one. Power! It's slow. Only 80 FE per tick. But water flows more than fast enough. Things like that, and then like what? Later on, I'll get the okay, something. Later on, I'll get. Why would I do that later? Why would I do that later when I can go? Do I really not have blaze rods in here at all? I guess not, because I moved them over after I used them all up. But you see, this season, I'm not running under the nobody else helps rule, which means Hey, Kiki, I'm going to sneak in and use your lasers. Okay. Lasers. You had lasers. What? Why is that off? Like it's hooked to power. Power is not getting water? Is that your only power? No. It's not your only power. Only with redstone signal. So what do you use to give it a redstone signal? Or are you just like manually toggling the only with a redstone signal? Ooh. That is a mean recipe right now. What's putting power into that? Or water into it? Are you coming down here and manually dumping water in this? Trying to figure out how to do it aesthetically? Because I guess if it takes that long for a bucket to wear off, like... With my power out there. I think. I guess if no power is getting pulled out of it, it's not going to register that it should change its listed ratio. And yeah, I should double check. ASMR. Okay, I missed taking out any of the torches. Oh, that time it put me near the ceiling again. Oh. Screw it. Eggies. Yeah, so don't have the diamonds for it at the moment anyways, so. How many skulls do I even have wandering around? They're going to be in here. If any place. I think that or one. Which means the specific thing you use that for is yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Horde mobs. Horde mobs for black. Chromatic. Yeah. One full batch of power, give or take. Alright. I need to read another paint room. I don't have enough rusty trapdoors. Never mind. Thanks, Torch. Now I need to paint, raid another paint room. Technically, I could do just half slabs back there. Because you don't have to access the entirety of the drawer, just the back of the drawer for maintenance. So even like a half slab works fine. Alright. Torches. Time to put back torches. Oh, you got the lights behind it. Yeah, and eventually I want to get better lighting than this anyways. But for now, torches are where torches are. Yeah, okay. That's a wrap. Day 23. I do hope that we do get a hot fix and it doesn't and it does fix some of these things that make this a slog. Because right now it's remastered just feels like update 16. Something isn't quite right. Something needs fixed, but no clue when that might happen or if it will. You can play the game, but it's not in a great state. We'll see what tomorrow brings. And of course, with the release of the server, more hotfixes should be incoming quicker, but that starts Sunday, so like 2 weeks. Like, it's not going to be enjoyable, but I'll go through it. Until then, bye.